Jamaica's shores to Guyana's golden sands. Our hearts beat strong in distant lands. Trinidad's rhythm, Grenada's spice. Our culture shines, bold and bright. West Indian people, wherever we roam.
Welcome to the very first episode of Pan-Caribbean Pulse. I'm your host, Rhoma Spencer, and this is the show that brings you the heartbeat of the Pan-Caribbean world. From the pulsating rhythms of calypso and reggae to the artistic expressions of our painters, dancers, and musicians.
Sun and all between, St. Vincent skies.
In today's premiere episode, we're diving into the taste buds of our collective palate, one that tells of our historical and cultural past. We'll explore how Caribbean cuisine has shaped global gourmet dishes. And I'll be sitting down with Chef Jex Paisley, who has brought the taste of the Caribbean to homes in the Greater Toronto area through his online kitchen enterprises. But first, let's check out what's trending in the news. The Canadian government updated its travel advisory for people planning to travel south of the border. The update indicated visitors are required to register with the US government if they plan to stay in the country for longer than 30 days. Failure to comply with the registration requirement could result in penalties, fines, and misdemeanor prosecution. Persons are also advised to check the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services website to see if they must register and how they can do so. So wait, all them Canadian snowbirds with the nice little condo down in Florida, they could face jail and penalty now. You think these old people so internet savvy to say they're going online and register to stay in the United States for over 30 days? Well, look how Karen and she mother at risk at facing deportation now, eh? Ask to them bus rides going down to Buffalo to shop. You could wave that bye-bye. Buy local and shop right here at the border, because we in Canada is an alien. Yeah, an alien just like everybody else. I live to see the day to hear that we must travel with caution to the United States. They come like a war-torn territory now, but nobody didn't have to tell me that. Nah, I did long put myself on my own travel advisory since last November. A 61-year-old woman has been arrested after allegedly dressing up in a series of wigs and disguises to take life in the UK test on behalf of others. Immigration enforcement investigators arrested the woman on suspicion of fraudulently completing the citizenship test for at least 14 applicants, both male and female. She is alleged to have completed the test across multiple test centres in the UK, disguising herself and doctoring ID documents to evade detection. Immigration officers said they seized several false documents and an array of wigs, alleged to have been used in the fraudulent scheme, according to the Home Office. Now tell me, 61 years old, you say? But can't you realize skills? This is a test of 24 questions proving that you have sufficient knowledge of British values, histories, and society. Questions like, who was King of England at the time of the Norman invasion in 1006? Who cares? Or how often does the changing of the guards happen? Go down by the palace and see it for yourself. So Tanti not only versed in the history and politics of the UK, but she versed in wigs and weaves. Today she could be in braids, tomorrow she could be in a human hair, short bob, and the day after that, the private racehorse at the Royal Ascot. And it's so it'll go. Today I am honored to sit with the very popular Chef Jex Paisley of Transcend Meals, an online kitchen bringing the taste of the Caribbean to our doors. We do not necessarily have to visit any fancy restaurant in the Greater Toronto area to savor the taste of the islands. Chef Jex and his Transcend Meals has taken the GTA by storm. Chef, welcome to Pan-Caribbean Pulse.
Thank you very much for having me, Rhoma. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much. I know you're based somewhere way out in Brampton, is it?
Yeah, we're just in Orangeville, just north of Brampton. Yeah?
Awesome, great. Now, your passion for cooking started in your parents' kitchen.
Absolutely.
What island are we talking about? And I want you to talk me through your experience as a little boy fascinated with cooking.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that question. So, I was born in Jamaica, right? I was born in Jamaica. I developed a passion for culinary at a very young age. My mom's a very good cook. My dad was a very good cook as well. He was a chef earlier in our life. So my mom, she used to have us in the kitchen with her as boys, as young kids, and we used to learn from her. Watch the things that she do and how she could create, beautiful flavors with just simple ingredients that my dad would grow. So it's like a farm to pot concept I grew up with from my parents, and I try to keep that concept and just use that as a fundamental for everything I do.
That's really interesting, to hear that your mom had her boys in the kitchen, because certainly I know in Trinidad and Tobago, boys were meant to be outside in the yard and the girls were supposed to be in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. So that's a great, kudos to your mom.
Absolutely. So my mom ensured that so my mom had 5 boys, right? She wanted to ensure that we were very independent, that we know how to take care of ourselves.
Also, there are no girls.
Yeah, my mom had 5 girls as well. So the girls are always in charge, but as boys, I feel like she ensured that we knew how to take care of ourselves.
Is she still alive?
Yeah, my mom is very much still alive.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 of us as boys are chefs.
Oh.
Yes, correct. So
enough respects to mom. What's mom's name?
My mom's name is Winifred.
Winifred,
yeah.
Enough respects to Winifred.
Absolutely. So she ensured that all of our boys knew how to handle ourselves. That we, in the event that she's not there or we move out of the house, we really gonna starve, right? We're able to take care of ourselves. So those fundamentals she taught us very young. I started around 12, started cooking for the family, which was a very big deal just as I started high school. And yeah, she taught us at a very young age, and we were very grateful for that.
Awesome. And how does the diverse cultural influences in the Caribbean shape the dishes you create?
And that's a very good question. I feel like in the Caribbean, we have some of the most beautiful ingredients that can compete on any platform, right? I feel like, it's not really explored very much or advertised as it should. But, getting to travel, I work on a cruise ship for many years, work with people from all over the world, right? Work with a lot of Caribbean co-workers as well. So they taught us different, their way of life, their concept, their culture, how they create real bus-up shot and, a real, the Guyanese taught me their version of curry chicken or chicken curry. So we learn as we go, and learning these unique ingredients that, you'll find a thing like anata, right? Something that's not even really used very often in some areas. Beautiful.
Anata, is that a red thing?
That is correct.
Or we call that ruku in Trinidad.
Exactly. So that's another beautiful ingredient as well that's not really explored. Allspice. I feel like allspice is one of the most beautiful ingredient ever. You can pretty much use it in anything, right? Bringing those flavors together with some all or Scotch bonnet, that nice flavor you get from the real Scotch bonnet, stuff like that, and just using them, exploring, understanding what they are, what flavors you can derive from them, and just really trying to maximize them as much as possible to create amazing flavors, right? So, and I feel like the Caribbean, everywhere you go, have some form of unique spices, and it's just for us to really explore them and maximize them.
When you talk about this, the diversity in spices throughout the Caribbean, is a spice that we all use in Jamaica, pimento, that is not necessarily used in Trinidad, but we have a form of a pepper that we call pimento as well, that we put in everything that we cook. Have you ever explored that pimento, the Trinidad style pimento?
Not at this time. I'm not very familiar with it. Okay. But the allspice pimento in Jamaica is the same concept. It's the same pimento is, Canada, you call it allspice, but it's the same.
Right, which is these like a little black ball,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Whereas the pimento from Trinidad is like a pepper,
Okay.
like a Scotch but a pepper, but it is not hot.
Oh, so
It's
now I'm
long.
I stand corrected. So
Yes,
that
you know
pimento
it.
pepper,
Yeah.
if you go into my kitchen right now, it's a staple.
Okay.
I that pimento pepper, my team will tell you, the flavor from that pepper is like it's like nothing you'll ever have. Like it makes everything amazing. So I buy that stuff in bulk. It's
Yeah.
I use it with the Scotch bonnet. It's Scotch bonnet gives you the heat and a nice
It's a flavor.
flavor as well. But the pimento gives just a burst of amazing flavor, and then it looks good. It comes in, when it starts to ripe, you get the red, you get the yellow, you get the green,
orange.
Yeah, the orange. So I find that it looks good, it tastes good. It's a really good garnish, and then it gives you that beautiful flavor. So I use that pimento
You do.
all the time. It's one of my
But so you don't know it as pimento,
No.
the name.
no, I didn't know that.
Ah.
I knew it as pimento, but pimento to me is that spice.
The
Is that-
Jamaican,
yeah.
what we call the Jamaican spice, right? The
Yeah.
little black ball.
Exactly. So now I
Pimento.
learned. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
In Trinidad, we call that pepper that gives you that burst of flavor.
Mhm.
We call that pimento.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I like using
Now,
it.
your culinary training was in Jamaica and Canada.
Mhm.
Having worked in 5-star hotel resorts along the way, how does this experience impact Transcend meals?
Oh, absolutely, and thanks for asking that. So I started in Jamaica, where I the Panaribbean Heart Academy, a beautiful institute. After high school, they provide a platform for us to come and learn the fundamentals, right, and other areas as well. So I went there, did culinary for many years, for 2 years, and it was a beautiful program. They taught me respect of ingredients, which was primary. Safety and all that stuff. Then, we use that experience that I had to kind of, I was lucky to get plugged into, at the time, Couples Resort, which was one of the top hotels in Jamaica at that time. So, I learned a lot from the fundamental at the Culinary Institute, then from hotel experience, using that experience now coming to Canada to learn management, culinary management in George Brown College, which was one of the best move I made in my career. So George Brown now taught me how to run a business, right? George Brown taught me how to manage food costs. George Brown taught me how to, teach me how, scheduling, staffing, all that stuff. So, from the fundamental learning how to cook to coming to learning management, and then using that to create my own brand, create my own concept of culinary. It all blends together to help me to make the brand that I have created today.
Awesome. That's very interesting. And it brings me to the question that, the COVID pandemic saw the introduction of food home delivery, right? Was this the inspiration behind Transcend Meals? I mean, what was your motivating factor? I mean, because I only started to see Transcend Meals in the last year, but I'm sure it was around before that. So was it something that came about during the pandemic?
So that's a beautiful question again. So Transcend Catering has always been a catering company. We've been around for over 10 years. We've done a lot of events, a lot of small events over the years. COVID and, after events, we always had our customers who always want to have our food. They always wanted to have this food at home, right? And COVID kind of pushed me to that concept where people are not able to have parties anymore, go out anymore. And, I try to find a way how to present Caribbean food in a way that is still vibrant, tastes really good, as, restaurant freshness as much as possible, and delivering it to people's home, right? So COVID forced us into that path where most people are doing at home delivery, and we we're doing some more research. We started that platform of Transcend Meals away from Transcend Catering, and started delivering to people's home, right? So we were kind of trying to deliver the same authentic Caribbean flavors to our people conveniently at your doorstep.
That brings me to the question, Now, a lot of Caribbean foods and how we eat
Mhm.
could be seen as politically incorrect. All right?
Yeah.
We eat rice and provision,
Mhm.
which you call food. So
Mhm.
we'll eat rice, yam, dasheen, and plantain with rice.
Yeah.
And well, in Trinidad, we always have a beans, right? Whether it's red beans, lentil peas, split
Yeah.
peas, together with it, and of course your protein, your meat. So you have two proteins and two sets and more of carbohydrates. Now I noticed that with Transcend meals,
Mhm.
I mean, you do a really well balanced diet.
Mhm.
That ain't necessarily Caribbean, it's cuisine, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. Because I growing up, it's always a lot of yam, banana, dumpling,
Yes.
and everything. That's the plate, right?
Yes.
And then some butter with some meat on top of that.
You know what I'm saying?
That was always the dish, right?
So you're pushing the envelope
Mm-hmm.
and creating and what I call re-imaging in
Correct.
some way.
Correct.
So tell us about what a Transcend meal when you order it online. Talk me through the process of how one goes about ordering a meal and what do they get?
Absolutely.
What do they get? Tell me some of the menus.
Absolutely. So so the inspiration behind the creating of our meal. So my wife's a nutritionist,
Oh.
right? So she's one of the mastermind behind what goes in the plate. So she ensures that it's balanced. She ensures that the food that goes out there, it should be medicine, right? Make sure it's balanced for all our customers. So the protein, a carb, and lots of vegetables. That is the fundamental of all our dishes. And again, in the Caribbean, the vegetable is usually a little garnish on the side.
Yes.
But we want to make sure the vegetable this time is not overcooked. It's as vibrant, fresh, and seasonal as much as we can in Canada here. So the idea behind creating our plates is to ensure that all areas of nutrition are presented in the best form possible, right? So the protein is still there, a nice carb, and the vegetable, and then the carb we try to be a bit more creative with our carbs as well. So
Clearly, because we don't eat no couscous and quinoa
Right.
in the Caribbean,
Right.
So tell me about that.
right, again, so we do understand that those items are not common, they're not popular, but they're really good, healthier substitute for an alternatives, right? So we do try to provide as many options as possible for our customers. Again, if you getting a chicken dish with a couscous and you don't need the couscous, you can always substitute it for something else, right? But we want to provide you with healthier alternative options, so that and try to make the alternative option as attractive as best as possible, right?
And still staying true to your Caribbean aesthetic in the meal.
Exactly,
Right.
because all our spices and seasoning and flavors, so all our vegetables and all our protein are all Caribbean based, right? We create a base that is tastes very authentic, very traditionally Caribbean, and even though we try to create alternative sides and starch as well, we still try to make it be as authentically Caribbean in spices and flavors.
Yes. And I can attest to that because I have been one of the Transcend Meals customers
Nice.
over the past months or two.
Yes, you have, and
Yeah.
thank you very much for the support, Rhoma. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. I could tell you as a diabetic, it is a well-balanced meal for a diabetic, trust me. Now, how do you incorporate local and seasonal ingredients into your food preparations? And I ask that especially now, where we are forced to buy local. I mean, do you use garlic from Ontario?
Yeah.
In your meals?
So that's a very tough question, especially right now with what's going on in our economy right now. So we work very close with our suppliers and our partners. They source. Being Caribbean based, there are certain things that have to be imported, right? So there's certain spices, flavors that we have to get imported, right? However, we try to work with our supplier do provide a whole list of local items, and we try to make sure we support local as much as possible when when we're in the summer season, the weather change and all those tomatoes comes in, all those local fresh vegetables and stuff comes in. We are those are our first pick, right? In the winter season, when there's not many options here, we do work very closely with our suppliers, and they do try to provide as much option locally as possible, right? And we always try to support that.
That's very good because there's something called the Toronto Garlic Festival that happens in the fall, in September. And a lot of what you eat at the festival, they're all made with garlic from Toronto, from Ontario. And I wasn't even aware because most of the garlic that you see in the supermarket comes from China.
Yeah. So,
I hardly ever see any. Do you ever see garlic made in Ontario on the shelves?
Absolutely, yeah. So again, where we live, a lot of farms up that side. So there are a lot of local farmers. There are a lot of local. You get a lot of local products that's available. Once you get a bit more north of the GTA.
So the Transcend Meals Kitchen is based in.
So we're located in Orangeville, just north of Brampton there. But we serve the GTA. We serve Durham. We serve. We go all the way up to Keswick. We go all the way. Yeah, we serve a really wide audience.
How do you do it?
Yes, and that's a good question as well. So we've been fortunate to get partners that our delivery partner, sorry, that that serves a wide scope, right? So they pick up all the items and they serve all the GTA, all the way down to Oshawa. From up to Keswick, everywhere. They go everywhere, and they've been very, very accommodating, and help us to. So especially we have some customers who are not very mobile, right? So our promise to our customer is that we're going to deliver a meal straight to you, right? We try to get it to your doorstep as best as possible, and our delivery partner has been very good in making sure that promise is fulfilled. Especially some areas are a bit more harder to fulfill that, especially in the heart of the GTA where parking is a problem. But we've been trying to deliver to the doorstep with our partners, understanding the concept that we have to earn the promises to our customer, and they've been very good.
Is there a difference between online ordering of food during the winter as against during the spring or summertime?
Yeah, actually, we do find in the winter more people buy online. We do find more people do buy online in the winter. Meal prep does get a bit busier. However, in the summer times, a lot of people are doing more barbecue, stuff like that. But it's still a steady pace. We do have customers who do rely on the services. So winter, it does get a little bit busier. More people are on their yearly, their goal setting. And meal prep kind of help with the JM, kind of create that balance so that they don't have to worry about the cooking.
So winter is a hectic time.
Winter does get busy.
You make the most money in the winter time.
We try.
Now, rice and peas, jerk chicken, curry goat, these are distinctly Jamaican cuisine favors, right? Any plans to tackle other islands like Trinidad, Callaloo, and macaroni pie, a little Grenadian oil dog, or Antiguan fungi and swordfish?
Absolutely. So as our company grow, right, and as our market grow, we're Caribbean. We're always trying to provide food for the Caribbean and introduce our Caribbean spices and flavors to the world, right? So we're definitely, as we grow, we try to incorporate as many different varieties as possible. We do work with some local partners to kind of source, some authentic cultural food as well that is on our menu. And, like our roti is an option that is created by another partner as well. And they've been really good. So we try to support as many options that we see.
So that roti came from a Trinidadian, no doubt.
That roti, yes, that roti came from.
It was silky, soft, and smooth.
Exactly. We ensure we're authentic if we're going that direction.
And to tell you how politically correct this roti, this bus-up shot was, it was bus-up shot with curry goat, broccoli. No, any Trinidadians eating curry, a bus-up shot curry goat with broccoli.
Of course.
You can get it at Transcend Meals.
I get
Now,
it. Sorry.
what are some of the challenges and rewards of online food ordering?
Yeah, I mean, some of the challenges we do find that is so when you order your meal online, sometimes the customer do forget what date their delivery dates are, and so we do have some customer do get a bit anxious, and we try to help and support and just kind of provide reminders as much as possible. When again, you order your meal a week ago, doctor's appointment, some emergency comes up, you're not home, right? Or you're not going to be home for the window that we provide. However, we try to find a way to accommodate and delivering in our insulated boxes with multiple ice packs kind of help to keep the food at a safe temperature. Even if you're not gonna be home for a few hours, it does help. Um, yeah, there's so much some challenges we find. Reward again, some of the best reward that I have personally received is hearing a senior saying, "Man, they were not able. They're using a walker. The box is heavy, and our delivery partner drop it right at their doorstep, so they could just push it inside their house, right? And that help that means a lot to me. Coming, hearing that I could support someone who had these challenges, and we were able to make a difference. Sure.
Awesome. How can we find the Transcend meals on the social media?
Oh, thank you for asking. So yeah, we are on all major platform as Transcend by Jex. So you go on social media, we are Transcend by Jex. You go on our website, transcendmealprep.ca. Transcendmealprep.ca, you'll find everything you need in our one-stop website, which is very easy to navigate. Lots of frequently asked questions answered there if you have any concerns while you're there as well. Or you can always shoot us a message from our website. So we are transcendmealprep.ca on our website, or Transcend by Jex on all major platforms, social media.
In closing, what message do you have for a young chef interested in Caribbean cuisine just like you?
Oh man, my message to you, young chef, is be true to yourself, be authentic, do your research, right? We have some of the most amazing flavors, some of the most amazing spices, some of the most amazing ingredients unexplored, right? That can be used on any platform, right? And you should be proud of you're proud of these traditional fundamental ingredients and use that in your growth, right? As you learn other culture, cuisine, other ways of cooking, don't forget your foundation and build on that, right? Because it's already something that we have proven in our lifetime that it works.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Chef Jex Paisley, for being our you know that you're the inaugural guest
Nice, I'm happy. Thank you very
on
much.
Pan Caribbean Pulse. So
Appreciate
thank you
it.
so much for being with us today and sharing a bit of the insights on Transcend Meals, and knowing a little bit about you too, and your mom Winifred,
Thank you.
raising these 5 boys and 5 girls.
God, that's correct.
Wow.
That's correct. That's
Wow. Give thanks.
correct. No, thank you
so
very much. Thank you. You're welcome.
What an incredible conversation, eh? I mean, it's just so inspiring to see how Caribbean foods continue to take up space in Canada with its multi diverse culture and heritage. Whether it is Italian, Chinese, Indian, African, the list of culinary delights goes on. And that's exactly what Pan Caribbean Pulse is all about, celebrating our achievements, documenting the past, celebrating the present, and looking ahead to the future of our culture, Sankofa. Coming up next time, we're diving into the world of fashion with an exclusive interview with Michaela Palmer, curator of the Reverie Faces Lookbook, the Pan Caribbean and African fashion magazine for designers. She'll be sharing insights on how the magazine is shaping the industry, supporting emerging designers, and connecting fashion with cultural identity. Thank you for watching Pan Caribbean Pulse. And remember, support your local artists, designers, and creators. Every purchase keeps our culture alive and thriving. In these trying times, spend your money wisely, read the label, and buy local. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a beat of our stories from the heart of the Pan-Caribbean world. So next time, keep the pulse throbbing and let the rhythm flow. Bye-bye.
Dominica's green, the Bahamas sun, and all between. St. Vincent skies, Antigua's breeze. We carry our roots with effortless ease. Though scattered far, our bond is tight. We rise in love, we shine our light.